Good morning. Welcome to Up to the Minute. It is Tuesday, February the 20th. Good to have you with us on the show. Hopefully, you had a good 3-day weekend. For all of you who work for HCC, we are back. And of course, we're live on this Tuesday from HCCTV studios. We've got a great show lined up for you today. Special guest going to join us later in the show. But my co-host this morning, Benji Escobar, joining us from his home. Benji is an HCCTV videographer and also filmmaking student and our Tuesday co-host. Good to see you, Benji.
Good to see you too, Todd. After a great 3-day weekend we had.
Did you have a good weekend?
I did. But
Did you
when
get
you
out and do
put one
anything?
extra day, it just becomes awesome, you know?
I think, did you celebrate your anniversary with the girlfriend?
That is today, actually. We're
Oh, wow.
going, yeah.
Where y'all going to go eat?
Taste of Texas. Don't tell
Taste
her
of
that.
Texas. All right. All
Mhm.
right. Well, you certainly get a lot of ideas from this show because it's Tasty Tuesday, and we're going to have a Tasty Tuesday guest in a short time. But
Oh,
first off, Benji, you've got a special guest talking about the Frederick Douglass Lecture Series in honor of Black History Month. So I'm going to let you go ahead and take it away for our first segment.
yeah. Today we have Syble Davis. She is sorry, I'm looking at she is the co-coordinator of the Bridge Puente program. Welcome back to the show, Professor Davis.
Thank you. Thank you
Yes.
for having me.
Of course, we love having you here. The final presentation of the Frederick Douglass Lecture Series is coming up later this month, and you are the lecturer, right?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. So before we get into that topic, we will be discussing, tell us about the details of the event.
Well, actually, the series has been really going well. Dr. Hosek, who is a history prof, started it off with civil rights information. I forget what the second one was, and I think we only had three, and I am doing the last one, which I am going to talk about actually Afeni Shakur, but I'm starting with the Black Panther Party, in which she was a member of.
Okay. And so for the viewers who don't know what they are, can you tell us who were the Black Panthers and where they were established?
The Black Panthers Party were established in Oakland, California by two college students, Huey Newton and Bobby Seale at Merritt College. It was a community college. And they were initially upset because the Black history was not served at the college. And not only that, but they were also upset about the fact that they were always being intimidated or being harassed by police, and not just them, but in the neighborhood. They witnessed a lot of it. So they decided to get together and get this Black Panther program, this Black Panther Party of Defense started. And it started in 1966, I believe it was.
Yeah. Okay. And I know there's probably a bunch of people that have been part of the Black Panthers. Of course, Newton and Seal, the co-founders, are probably the most famous. But other than that, any other people that are notable in history?
Yes, indeed. There's Eldridge Cleaver, who was once prisoned, but he also wrote a New York Times bestseller, Soul on Ice,
Oh,
which with that leverage, with him joining and that leverage, they had the liberal audience, understanding where these young people were coming from, what their grief was, their grievances, and they helped along the way. So, and not only did they have Eldridge, which was a bulldog, if you will, he was very, very harsh,
yeah.
but good. They also had Stokely Carmichael, who is one of my favorites. Stokely Carmichael is unique, however, in this is because he started off as he went to Howard University, of course, from Trinidad, and the Bronx, well, the Bronx deal of Trinidad, Howard University grad, but also was a member of the initial students who rode on the Freedom Rides down south, from north down south.
Mhm.
And he also spent 50 years, 50 days in the Parchment prison in Mississippi for riding on the bus. And I guess that kind of disdained him or changed his whole idea of, civil rights, of what to do for civil rights. So then he started the Black Power movement, and eventually moving on across the West Coast to the Black Panther Party, and became a prominent figure there. And my favorite of them is Fred Hampton. He's leader and deputy chairman of the Black Panther Party of the Illinois chapter. He is the initial person who started the Rainbow Coalition. We often say that it's Jesse Jackson, but Jesse Jackson did pick up the baton. But Fred Hampton was the one who actually started. And he has so much history and so much information in his life that, his mom even babysat Emmett Till.
Wow.
Isn't that a phenomenal connection? Yeah. I mean, just the idea of civil rights, of, trying to help individuals. So he was that connected. Not only that, but with the Rainbow Coalition, he was so powerful that he was able to bring all groups together, all nationalities. Some of the nationalities were, let's see, I have them here. The Lords, which the Puerto Rican Lords, he brought the poor white students. I forget the name of the actual thing was, but he brought a diverse group of people who really wanted something better, for life or for them, because they were young. And remember, these individuals were college students as well. Most of them were college students. So he was my most favorite of the guys, if you will.
Of course.
And also they made a movie of him, The Black Messiah, which Daniel Kaluuya, one of the actors, won an Academy Award for that portrayal of Fred Hampton.
Yeah, very memorable movie. I remember seeing that.
Yeah.
Tell us about COINTELPRO. Can you tell us about that?
That's the counterintelligence programs developed by FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover. It was a neutralized political dissidents to investigate radical nationalists. They targeted actually American citizens, which was pretty, kind of crazy, but it happened. There were 5 groups that they were actually targeting, which those groups are the Communist Party, the Socialist Workers' Party, white hate groups, and the New Left. But the party in which they wanted to disseminate was the Black Panther Party. And they did bore the brunt of the damage in which the COINTELPRO did, killing Fred Hampton and Mark Clark, if you will. Hoover also declared, with bringing this program together, because he declared that the Black Panther Party was the greatest threat to the internal security of the country. And according to documents, one of the purposes of the COINTELPRO was to expose, disrupt, misdirect, discredit, and otherwise neutralize the activities of Black nationalists. Actually, they wanted to prevent the rise of Black Messiah, of a Black Messiah, which starting with Martin Luther King Jr. Amongst the candidates, and his assassination in 1968. They garnered their target towards Huey Newton, of course, and then, of course, ending with killing Fred Hampton. And of those 295 documents, actions taken from COINTELPRO, I'm sorry, it's such a tongue twister, was to 223 of those were directed solely against the Black Panther Party.
Wow. I mean, I feel like I'm getting like a brief little portion of your class there that you're gonna do.
Yeah. I teach this actually in my English 1302 class, which is an argumentative and research class. So,
awesome. And I know you have somebody who's kind of like your favorite, I would say. I mean, I don't know that's what I have on the notes here. Fay Shakur.
Yes, which she is the mother of the famous rapper Tupac Shakur, who is my favorite rapper of all time. Everybody's like Jay-Z and all of that. These are good, but this guy was embedded in the Black Panther Party. As we all know, that his mom was pregnant with him in prison for the New York 21.
Yeah.
But you can't talk about Afeni nor her son without, in talking about the Black Panther Party. And she, being a woman, of course, and being at that time, women were trying to make their ways. And she did, but she's just so unsung to me. And I think I don't think she mind being overshadowed by her son. But she was just this wonderful, troubled woman initially. It wasn't all good. We're talking about the 60s. We're talking about a woman coming from South Carolina whose real name was Alice Faye Williams. Poor, moving, come from a violent household with her father, a mom who was, very violent toward her mother. She saw all these things, and it built strength in her, as she would say, and one of her things was to resist. And her resistance before she was revolting or revolutionary was I cannot let that happen to me. And I thought that was pretty phenomenal, by using what the said weaknesses to make them her strengths.
Yeah.
And what she did say was, once she joined she didn't come to the Black Panther Party as most did, who came from college and stuff. She came from a street gang, if you will. Now, she was very well read, mind you. She went to the School of Performing Arts in New York, the famous school where Fame was. Look, she went there. And it's so funny. When I was doing research on her boyfriend was Glenn Thurman, who was once married to Aretha Franklin.
Wow.
Yes. In high school, that was her boyfriend,
Wow.
And he's a famous actor now, very famous. He played on, A Different World and all of these things. But she was very brilliant, and her IQ was very high. She really wanted to go to Honors High School, but they wouldn't let her because of the racial situations going on in that time. But the most phenomenal thing that she did was when the COINTELPRO was doing some investigation on the Black Party, the Black Panther Party, excuse me. That she was caught up in the 21 people that they arrested and convicted with 196 felony counts, and she was facing 312 years in jail.
Wow.
And she did, and she got bond. She got bailed out. Someone bailed her out. This group of women bailed out Jane Fonda, being a part of that group of women. Bailing her because they saw the goodness that she was doing to the community and with the community and stuff. So she defended herself, however. She defended herself, and when she defended herself, there was this trial, the New York 21 was the longest trial in New York history, even to this date, 11 months.
Wow.
And she cross-examined the very guy that infiltrated into their organization, who was an undercover cop in the courtroom, and he under oath, and he had to tell the truth. And she and 13 of the other 21 were exonerated.
Well, thank you so much, Syble Davis. We've kind of run out of time, but I know we have this class going on, and we can always take it with you. So, Syble Davis, co-coordinator of the Bridge Puente program and speaker at the upcoming presentation at HCC's Northwest Frederick Douglass Lecture Series. And we'll have all of your info on the post after the show. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Bye-bye.
Thank you both. It is Tuesday, Tasty Tuesday, and we've got a special guest joining us now. Chris Williams, the executive chef and co-founder of Lucille's Fine Southern Foods. Welcome back to the show, Chris. Good to see you, and I see you have a special guest with you today.
I do. Thanks for having me. This is my new boss.
All right.
This is Alessandra Josephine.
Nice to meet you, Alessandra. Chris, I know you've been here before. We talked about Lucille's being a tribute to your grandmother, but you brought some new things to share today as well.
Yeah, it's my great-grandmother, who is a big part of American history, of course, African-American history. But now we have something else historic, which is the historic Eldorado Ballroom, which is right in the center of 3rd Ward, built in 1939 by African-American philanthropist named Anna Dupree. And this was the place. It was like the equivalent of the Apollo Theater, the Cotton Club, or the Savoy of Houston. And this is where all the masters, from Duke Ellington to Charlie Parker to James Brown to Ella Fitzgerald, if they came to the South, if they came to Texas, they performed at the ballroom.
You know, it's very exciting. I was looking at the Facebook page now. The ballroom, is it going to be like a mixed media center? It looks like you've got a food operation involved, and then I imagine you're going to have stuff going on in the ballroom as well, and then you've got a gallery there.
Yeah, so it's meant to be like, we wanted to, Project Row House owns the property. And when they asked us to come in and to create the businesses and operate the building, the first thing that came to my mind was let's reactivate this cultural celebration center. And you think about Third Ward, the history of Third Ward, it's known for a huge vegan movement, tons of visual arts, and ton of musical arts. So I thought that's exactly what we need to do. We bring the food that speaks to the palate of the old neighborhood, using those ingredients from the old, from staples from the African American community, and then reimagine them in a more health considerate way. And then we have the the visual arts, the Hogan Brown Gallery, which is a juxtaposition between up and coming artists from the community with the old masters from the community. So you can take Kaima Marie, who's finishing up her grad studies right now, and you have her next to a Floyd Newsom or Rick Lowe or Angelbeer. And then in the ballroom, as I mentioned, the talent that we had there before, we've already activated the space, and our goal is to bring in as much Grammy Award-winning talent as possible. We just had our first show to finish off the year with, our last show to finish off the year with Chris Day from the Drumheads, multi-Grammy Award-winning performer, who's a big part of Adele's album, and a lot of other stuff. So it's happening.
I did see a menu posted, I think, on a Facebook page. It looked like you guys had some sandwiches, and one that caught my eye is the fried green tomato sandwich.
Yeah, so Third Ward's a historic, it's a big vegan movement in Third Ward, and so we wanted to make everything that we offer at the Rado Market is meant to be transient. It's meant to, there's synergy between Emancipation Park and the Eldorado Ballroom. So we wanted to make our food conducive to grab and go, buy the sandwich, go walk across the street to the park. And so the fried green tomato is one of our vegan sandwiches, done with a vegan ricotta, vegan aiolis, and gluten-free bread. And it's one of the fan favorites.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, I'm a big fan of fried green tomatoes. Unfortunately, here in Houston, you don't see them everywhere. For many years, I traveled to Tennessee, and they were a staple up there. Every restaurant had their version of fried green tomatoes. So I'm looking forward to trying this one out, especially if it's a vegan option. Definitely looking forward to trying that. I had some of my notes. Something happened with the Julia Child organization that also involved Chris Shepard of Southern Smoke. Maybe you can tell us about that.
Yeah, it's the cookbook. James Beard Award-winning author Tony Tipton Martin was being honored by the Smithsonian Julia Child. She was receiving a Julia Child's Award, and so we hosted a dinner with her, and it was a group effort between Chris Shepard, Aaron Bludorn, and myself. We're all big fans of Tony, and it was just an honor to host. She chose the ballroom. And so the chefs were more than excited to come and cook recipes from her cookbook. And it was just a fun night of drinks, music, and stories.
Now, tell us about 1913 and what's the latest with this?
A lot's happening with 1913. We're really getting into our farming initiatives. We focus on, we did 1 million meals that we did from straight chef-driven meals that cooked to the palates, spoke to the palates of the people that we were serving. And now we're doing the exact same thing when it comes to farming. We have an amazing partnership with another university in the neighborhood, and we are going to really kick that up. And we just pulled 4,000 pounds of produce out of the ground right before the freeze to give to those people in need. And now we're looking to quadruple our output over the next, hopefully 180 days.
And you have another place opening as well?
Yeah, we have the new restaurant. Late August is the name of the restaurant. It's going in the Ion building right there at Wheeler and Fannin.
Yeah, the old Sears building, which was their mainstay for years.
Exactly, and that's why I named it Late August. I always try to have our concepts connected with some kind of history.
Yeah.
I was thinking about my connection to the Sears Roebuck company, and it's mostly my favorable. The things that I enjoyed about Sears were the Christmas catalog. And so the Christmas catalog, I was trying to find out when it came out. All I could find was late August. So that's the name of the restaurant. It's like a nod to the old building and Sears Roebuck, which was essentially Amazon before Amazon. And so it's going to be like an Afro-Mex kind of playground where we're showing a little bit of West African cuisine with a little bit of West Mexican cuisine, because the chef who's working with me, Sergio Hidalgo, is a really big fan of his culture, his ingredients, and elevating humble ingredients, as am I. So we're opening up March 11th, and it's going to be interesting.
You got a lot on your plate, especially with a new baby as well. It looks like you got a lot going on.
Yeah, the boss is this is the most important one right here.
Absolutely. Want to go back real briefly and talk about Lucille's a bit, because I know you mentioned inspired by your great-grandmother, but you have a very specific menu. Maybe you can tell us about some of the menu items on there.
Yeah, so when we came up with Lucille's, when we decided to name it after my great-grandmother, it gave me focus as a chef who's worked through Europe and everywhere from Lithuania to London. It gave me center. So we said that we're going to do Southern cuisine. Two of the recipes that we were doing are my great-grandmother's originals, which are her hot rolls. It's the nation's first instant hot roll mix that Pillsbury borrowed the recipe to build their empire. It's her chili biscuits, and then everything else is kind of inspired by what we know as Southern cooking. And what Southern cooking really means is it's just based off the ingredients that are indigenous to this part of the world. And the ingredients kind of determine the way that you cook them. So so we say it's a Southern restaurant with global influences.
Yeah.
And we're celebrating our 12th anniversary this year.
That's incredible. You have got a lot going on, my man. You've got a lot going on these days, but it's always good to see you. We appreciate you being a friend of the show and joining us.
No, I appreciate you guys and your patience, and thanks for the opportunity to speak to your audience.
Absolutely. Chris Williams, executive chef and co-founder of Lucille's Fine Southern Foods. He's got late August coming up. And of course, the Dorado Market, the Eldorado Ballroom, check them all out. We'll have all the information on social media post after the show. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Take care.
Say bye.
Bye. All right. Thank you. Okay, guys, Benji, we've got the rest of the show to finish out. We've got a couple of announcements I want to get to before we do that. One of them, Black Excellence Expressed, a $100 art contest. Now, in celebration of Black History Month, Student Life presents Black Excellence Expressed, a $100 fine arts contest. Students are invited to share their song, poetry, or visual arts commemorating Black history. The deadline to submit your original artwork, 5 p.m. today, Tuesday, February 20th. How do you submit it? We'll have a post, or link in our post after the show. And Benji, your favorite day, free haircuts and cosmetology services.
Yes, the barber program is offering free haircuts on Tuesday and Wednesday at HCC Central, and Cosmetology will be offering free services on Tuesdays at Eastside and Northline campus. Free haircuts take place, like I said, HCC Central from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and for the Cosmetology will be at Eastside and Northline from 9 a.m. to noon on Tuesdays. So for any more information, check out our post after the show.
That's right. And I believe we have a guest coming up this week talking about those cosmetology services and what they all do, because I know we talked about you getting your eyelashes done.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Auto Technicians Mechanics Career Fair. That's coming up. The job fair for current and former Transportation Center of Excellence students will meet with prospective employers, 9 a.m. to noon, Wednesday, February 21st. I believe that's tomorrow at the Automotive Technology Training Center. Check our post after the show for more info. And Benji, we're going to skip down to our last announcement because we are in the midst of enrolling students right now.
Yes, HCC Spring Second Start classes have now started, and all our courses that are either in person, online, or hybrid. Online anytime, online on a schedule, hybrid, in person, hybrid lab. We have all the classes. To learn more about HCC program start dates and options to cover costs, please visit hccs.edu/apply. Again, that is hccs.edu/apply.
That's right. And if you are looking to get your eyelashes done like Benji, we're going to find out tomorrow what these cosmetology services or that are being offered for free by HCC. As the chair of the Cosmetology department, will be here to talk about them tomorrow. Also, it's time for the chief of police to make his monthly visit to tell us what the department is up to lately. All that and more tomorrow. Welcome back, folks. It's Tuesday. We'll be back tomorrow, Wednesday, live, 10 a.m. with Up to the Minute.